Good evening, children. Today we will start the sixth chapter in Beehive, My Childhood. Dear children, this chapter is taken from the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. You know, he was the 11th President of India. He was not a real statesman, but he was a famous scientist and was called with the name the Missile Man. And you have already heard his name. He was the most famous personality who is mostly famous by the name of Missile Man. And Dr. Kalam had played very important role in the development of atomic bomb and atomic energy in our country. When first time our country has become less with the atomic power in the year of 1996 by the atomic blast in Pokhran, Rajasthan. Students, you know very well that the role of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was very important in this respect. So, present chapter is taken from the autobiography of this great scientist and whose life was just like a saint. The name of his autobiography is The Wings of Fire, and the full name of Dr. Kalam was Abul Pakir Janulabdin Abdul Kalam. And students, you know very well that this man was related to a very ordinary family of Tamil Nadu, Rameshwaram. And as I explained you today in the class that if the life history of a person is written by himself, then it is called the autobiography. And when the life history of a person is written by another man, then it is called the biography. So here in his autobiography, Dr. Kalam is telling us about his childhood days, about the whole life history himself. So he gave the name of his autobiography, The Wings of Fire. As you know, students, this chapter is extract from the book Wings of Fire, the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It talks about his childhood during which he earned the first badges. During this time, he faced religious discrimination and was able to overcome it with the support of others who were not like traditional people. He was motivated by the science teacher to undertake higher studies. Every successful person who had get success in his life, then such type of person is always motivated by someone, mostly his parents, mostly his brothers and sisters, and as well as his teachers. So in this respect, Dr. Kalam was motivated by his science teacher who motivated him to become a missile man, to become a scientist. Dr. Kalam has the three childhood friends, Subramaniam Iyer and Ramnath Sastri. And students, I have explained you each and everything of this chapter that Dr. Kalam was related to a fisherman family of Rameshwaram, the southern state of India, Tamil Nadu. And you know very well, Rameshwaram is a religious place of Hindus and mostly the Ram famous for the Ram Setu. भगवान राम ने यहाँ जो सेतु बनवाया था उसके लिए रामेश्वरम फेमस है. नाउ I will explain you the summary of this chapter, that how Dr. Kalam has passed his childhood, and during his childhood how he struggled because he was an average student in his student life, and he was related to a very ordinary family, and he had a very long family, a very big family. There were many family members in his family. That's why he was the son of a very devoted parents. Now, Dr. Kalam is telling us about his childhood, about his family. Abdul Kalam was born in a middle class Muslim family in 1931. He was born in a middle class Muslim family in the year of 1931 in the island town of Rameshwaram. रामेश्वरम में ये पैदा हुए थे, तमिलनाडु. In his childhood, he was greatly influenced by his parents. His personality was greatly influenced by his parents, his teachers, and his friends. And whole his life was greatly affected by his parents, teachers, and friends. Abdul's father, Mr. Jalaluddin, was not much educated, but he was a very generous and kind person. His father was not an higher educated person, but by nature he was very generous and kind person. He was not rich, but provided a secure childhood to Abdul and his brothers and sisters. His father was not a very rich man. As I told you that his father was a fisherman, and he was related to a fisherman's family. So his father was very sincere, kind, and generous. So he had given an average childhood to all the brothers and sisters of Dr. Kalam. Abdul's mother name was Ashimma. Ashimma was the name of Dr. Kalam's mother. Abdul inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father, and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. His personality was greatly affected by his father, and he inherited honesty and self-respect, self-discipline from his father, and goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Abdul earned his first wage as he was related to a very ordinary family. So there was always the lack of money in the family. So in a very early childhood, he started earning, and it was his childhood that he earned his first wages. Abdul earned his first wages by working as a helper to his cousin Shamsuddin. He became the helper of his cousin Shamsuddin. It was the first time that Dr. Kalam has earned his first wages. Who was the distributor of newspaper in Rameshwaram. The cousin of Dr. Kalam, Shamsuddin, was the distributor of newspaper in Rameshwaram. It was the time of Second World War. Students, in your previous chapter, Mr. Albert Einstein, I will also tell you about the First and Second World War. As you know very well that the period of First World War was 1914 to 1919, and the period of Second World War was 1939 to 1945. It was the time of 1939, and it was the first time that the First World War was about to start. When the Second World War broke out in 1939, Abdul was only 8 years old, and at that time Dr. Kalam was only 8 years old. There was a great demand of tamarind seeds at that time. उस समय जो tamarind means here is imli. जो इमली के जो सीड्स थे, जो बीज थे, उनकी बहुत डिमांड थी. अब्दुल यूज टू कलेक्ट दीज सीड्स. अब्दुल क्या करते थे, डॉक्टर कलाम इन सीड्स को कलेक्ट करते थे एंड सेल देम इन द मार्केट. और वो जो सीड्स थे, टैमारिंड सीड्स जो थे, उनको मार्केट में सेल कर देते थे. सो इट इज़ द ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन of the chapter 6, my childhood, and since next term I will send you the regular videos, the summary of this chapter, and tomorrow we will discuss the next part of this chapter. Okay students,